When I was in Prague, I received an email about participating in this event. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing I had presented before, but I really just wanted to come here tonight to show a perspective from an artist in a residency situation. I left for Prague in August. I think that my mission there was to escape my life at home, even though I love Vermont and its landscape and everything about it. I was sort of seeking refuge around empty nesting. And as an artist at the time, I needed to go to Retrovi to be with other artists in the world who could take me outside of myself. What you see here is a building that is probably built maybe in the 1500s in the town of Retrovi near Bubets, which is the community of artists and where I did my residency. You have a coffee shop and you have art, which is a student center, and you have connection. And these two things, I think, are very relevant in Vermont, but also in a town that really is coming from a post-communist era, experiencing a lot of freedom. People, although this sounds a bit trite, 10 years ago, you couldn't speak English comfortably in this town, and you felt really apart. My dear friend and collaborator, Čestmír Susko, who I met at the Studio Center in 2006, has created public art, which is a very vital part of the equation in his town. And it is now a growing residency for artists. You see some sculptures there. Walking to the studio every day, I sort of balanced out what is Bubets and what is home. To me, Bubets is an action, connection, it's connected, a place to withdraw myself into a place of creativity and have real focus, whereas at home, with distraction, I've experienced a lot of isolation, and what happened in the time that I was there is I was doing art that I hung on this wall that had never been hung there before about 5 years ago, and sharing my art, creating my art, and expanding their idea of a wall created a wall of art and graffiti. Bubets, again, seeking balance for more art as new ideas evolve momentarily in my head as an artist. This old brick house factory with opportunities for painters, sculptors, people in film to not only show in a twice-a-year show called Safari. It's in a very growing, sort of a suburb area outside of Prague that is becoming very welcoming in creating community. In this picture is a new person representing artists who can come from all around the world. Her name is Vladya, and she became my friend, and we had many talks about what it means to share in different cultures and create art. One of the sayings that I came up with in my reading and studying there is to allow your thoughts to occur in split seconds and to spill over into your art. To me, this sort of embodies the idea of a residency in its mere focus and intensity and freedom that you have to go in any direction you want when you're in a sort of activated environment, but also a very cultural, rich, historical area. I went there to help with public art and create more visibility to a garden that was being rented near the studio. I created art for kids. I was kind of grieving, as I said, the loss of my children having grown out and away from the home. And I created these reclaimed boxes from the local food store into play spaces for children at the coming safari this next weekend. This is a sort of an aerial view of the garden and the public area where events will now be held. And what's happening is that the community is really starting to come from outside the city more and more. Although there is an interior space where you look inside. This is Bubet's Safari inside the building that I showed you. But now an added piece is reclaiming a very sort of left out kind of area in the town was an old garden, and trying to draw attention to having public events for families and have it be a real destination for culture and exchange. This was a piece that I created in 2011. It is a result of my visual and cultural immersion and influences around me, art history. And it flowed outside of me in ways that I feel were very beneficial to my art. While I was in Prague this time, I experienced the Architectural Festival in Prague 1, which is outside the city. And this is an important visitation, as also was this trip to the Prague Botanical Gardens, where friends had sculptures. Again, more visibility, more art, and everyone experiences art more regularly to really become immersed in appreciating art and finding other areas for art in the community. I value this. I value my inspiration, not just with the people who are creative, other artists in my life, but also the people around me to create imagery that I think, in a closing message, this piece is called Floating. It reminds me of hot air balloons. And the surface is about art making me feel alive, which came directly from my experience in working in collaboration with other artists abroad. Thank you.